What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and honestly, I didn't even need to watch this game. I actually predicted everything that was going to happen going into it, and I know that sounds, oh yeah, you just knew. I did. Thing is, I wanted to be proven wrong. After we scored the first goal, I'm thinking, well, here it is. You know, we've been in this position before. We've had these moments before where it's like, well, we're ahead against a struggling side, bottom of the table. What can we do with this? What can we do to get through this? And that's typically where either it'll be okay, which happens very rarely. Very rarely do we score a goal and then go on to dominate the rest of the match and comfortably in control. But we score first, so it's either, are we going to just keep control of the game, are we going to take it to them, or are we going to knock it around, keep it nice and slow while the other team's building momentum, building confidence, starting to create chances? It was the second one. Once again, for probably the 10th time this season, we score first, comfortably in control, and then we just kind of slow things down. We go, let's take it easy, guys. Let's take it easy. Let's calm down. And Sheffield are like, okay, you guys slow down. You guys calm down. We're going to keep playing hard. We're going to go harder now. We're going to keep coming at you, and we're going to get that goal. And it happened. And they got their goal. They equalized. And I'm sitting there going, okay, so we've been here before too. 1-1 at halftime against a lower side in the table. You know, one of the relegation sides. We've been here before. Are we going to come out second half strong, looking to fight, or are we going to come out nice and slow and let them kind of take control of the match? It was the second one, once again. So sure enough, Sheffield creating all these great chances, have several chances to go ahead. Moment of individual brilliance from Madueke, and we're 2-1 up. And I'm thinking, all right, so we've been here before. One moment of individual brilliance, and that puts us in the lead. Now we just have to see out the rest of the match. Now are we going to actually work hard, defend hard, take the game back to them, you know, keep them under pressure so they don't have a whole lot of chances to break out and cause us trouble? Or are we going to sit back, we're going to knock it around slowly, and then let them build up their momentum and eventually get a late goal? It was the second one. I mean, every single time, it's the second one. I think maybe 2 games out of the season, I think both of them were Luton, did we actually score first and then just dominate the rest of the match. And even then, the second time we played Luton, we gave them a chance to come back into it late on. They scored 2 and nearly equalized late on. The first time we played Luton, we scored 3 and it was 3-0, and that was it. We kept control, we did well. But every other game where we have scored first against a lower side, we always do this. We always tend to give away the goal. We always tend to play slow after we score. We always let them grow into the game. We always let them build that momentum and their energy and their confidence, while we just kind of slowly knock it around. Our players are jogging around lazily, and they're just flying at us. And it's just so easy to play against us in those moments. And I'm sitting here going, Pochettino, what are you doing? What are you doing to get these players to play so lazily, so slowly? What are you doing as a manager that is causing them to go, I'm okay, I'll go. Nah, I'm too tired today. I don't want to go play. What are you doing as a manager that is causing these players to play like this? If you cannot get these players to play hard, to give 100%, every single game, if you can't take a last minute 2-3 to 4-3 winner, if you can't take that momentum 3 days later and go out and just blow past one of the worst sides in Premier League history, like Burnley, they're also one of the worst. That result arguably is worse than the result today. The Burnley match was. However, Sheffield have shown basically nothing all season. I've not seen anything from them. Burnley, at least, they tend to be stubborn. You know, they have that stubbornness about them that Burnley sides have had in the past. So they're not necessarily playing great, but they have a stubbornness to them that can make them difficult at times to break down. Sheffield have just been easily rolled over almost every single match that they've played. This should not be a challenge. This should not be a, we score and now we're struggling to keep control of the match. This should be, we score, we've got it. We're in control, no problem. If you cannot take a 4-3 win in the last minute against Man U at home, if you can't take that momentum into the next match, you are failing as a manager. You do not deserve to manage ever again. If you cannot get these players up, get these players excited and motivated to play this match, and beat what has been one of the worst Premier League sides in Premier League history, if you can't do that, then you don't need to be managing. You need to go do I don't know, anything. Just do anything else. Go be a bartender. Go serve coffee. Go do something else. You don't belong in this sport. You do not belong in this sport if you can't do this. I realize we have some problem players, but if you as a manager can't get these problem players up and motivated after that win, then you don't need to be in the sport. You don't belong here. You do not belong here. Because I can guarantee you any manager worth their salt, any manager that has a little bit of quality to them could get into that locker room and go, hey, great match. Let's take it to the weekend. And they get there all buzzing. Let's go. We're excited. We score the goal. Yeah, let's keep going. No, it wasn't any of that. We scored and it went right back to the same old lazy knocking it around. One of the things that you can do when you're a better team in the lead is you can typically knock it around with a lot of pace, get the other team to basically run themselves to death, and makes it easier for you. But if you're just going to knock it around comfortably, knock it around in the back, you're not making them move, you're not making them transition from side to side. It's just all they have to do is stay back, wait for you to make a mistake, and then they can counter on you. They're not going to be looking to try to step out when it's only 1-0, because they know as long as they just stay in the game, there's going to be that one chance that they get. But if you're making them move side to side, if you're making them have to defend hard after you go a goal up, guess what? There's a pretty good chance they're going to wear themselves out and you're going to get a chance to score again. But we never do that. We go a goal up against these lower sides and then we act like, oh, okay, guys, let's just knock it around, keep possession. We're like 3 goals up. Let's let them come on to us. No, they're not going to come on to you. They're not. It's not going to happen. It's going to be pack it in, look to counter, and as long as it's 1-0, we're good. Because we know this Chelsea side are not going to defend well. We need to go put 2 or 3 goals in if we really want to win these games. But we don't ever look to do that. We get a goal up and we just look to keep possession. And Pochettino is obviously a huge contributor to that. Because if he didn't want that, he would be trying to get them to move it down the field. But he never looks like he wants us to change that. We get a goal up, we're knocking it around, and he looks like he's, all right, yes, this is exactly what I want. I want us to keep possession right now. I don't want us to score another goal. Okay, well, then it's your fault. Whenever they go and score a goal and equalize, it's your fault. Because it could have been 2-0. It could have been 3-0, but we don't push ourselves past that. So outside of all of the problem with the lack of motivation today, which comes from players, comes from Pochettino, that's an issue. I have to look at his player selection again and go, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you watching that, first of all, says, hey, let's play Caicedo again after his match against Man U? What in the hell do you have to be smoking to think that Caicedo is a good choice for this game? What in the hell do you have to be seeing? Like, do you need glasses? Do you need contacts? Are you blind? Is that the problem here, Pochettino? To play Caicedo again, and not just play him, you played him, you started him, you played him the full 90, and throughout the entire 90 minutes, he was the worst. Until, after 90 minutes when you made another sub, and I'll get to that one in a second. But I mean, he was giving us nothing. Again, in the midfield, he is worthless. He is worthless as a defensive mid. He is worthless on the ball. He is worthless in every sense of the word. We brought him in for so much money, and he should have been brought in for free. Even then, he probably would have been paid too much because he is worthless. He is such a great player for the opposition every single time he's out there. He's making great passes to them. He's giving the ball away for them to set up their attacks. He's constantly, the first goal goes through his legs. A pass in behind, and it goes right through his legs to get to the guy to go score. Our defensive midfielder got megged to set up the assist for the goal. And right before that, the great chance that they had that kind of built up the momentum that led to the goal, it comes from he goes diving in and gets cut, and the guy has a good chance to score from right outside the box. Our defensive mid, we brought him in to be the ball winner, to be the one that breaks up the play. How many times this season has he done that? And I even want to go further than that. Has he done that at all outside of games against Championship or League Two or lower opposition? Has he done that against a Premier League side this season? Because I can't think of a game where he has. The only games where I can think of where he dominated and controlled the midfield with his ball winning was in the FA Cup matches when we played lower opposition in lower leagues. So if he's good against those teams, maybe he should be playing in those lower leagues. Maybe he shouldn't be playing in the Premier League. But he still plays every single match. He's out there. He's goofing up. He's absolutely terrible. He's worthless. So why does Pochettino keep picking him? Is there pressure on him to pick him? Is there something, did they put in his contract he has to play when he's fit? Because if you did, then you're an idiot. Because he's worthless. And then, after all of that, after just watching Caicedo play that whole game and thinking, God, he's got to come off, he never gets subbed off. And then we bring on Badiashile. And this is where I just kind of threw my hands up and went, you know what? Maybe Pochettino's trying to get fired. Maybe he's trying to get sacked at this point because there's no reason. I know people are going to say, oh no, there's a reason. He brought on another defender to make us more defensive. You bring on a good defender. You bring on Gilchrist if you want to bring on a good defender that will work hard and keep us from giving up a goal. You bring on Gilchrist if you want to do that. You bring on Badiashile, you're basically saying, I want to give up a goal. That's exactly what you're saying. You're saying, I want us to give up a goal and not win this match. So let's bring on Badiashile so that way he can defend terribly and give up a goal. That is exactly what you did. That is exactly what happened. Anybody in their right mind when that sub happened knew exactly what was coming. Knew that there was going to be a moment where he was going to do something stupid. He wasn't going to defend. He was going to let a player in behind him, and it was going to lead to a goal. It happened twice in that one build-up play to the goal. You've got the free kick comes in. He misses out on the first header, and it gets flicked on. Play happens. Ball goes back, chipped over the top. Or no, it was chipped in. Header comes in, flicks it over the top, and he is just standing as McBurney is running past him to go score. How many times? I have no other question in my mind outside of how many times is he going to do this? Is he going to give up a goal? Is he going to make a defensive mistake that leads to a goal? How many times does he need to do this before he finally just never plays again? How many times does that need to happen? Because at this point, it's probably in the double digits how many goals he has been at fault for. I'm willing to bet if you went through and looked at all of the goals and saw how many he had at least a part in, at least he was somewhat responsible for, whether it was lack of tracking, whether it was a giveaway, whether it was, just completely being outdone, like he didn't do his defensive job well. If you count how many goals that have been conceded because of him, I guarantee it's going to be in the double digits. And yet he still plays. Meanwhile, Gilchrist, who, he's not, I wouldn't say he's a world beater. I'm not saying Gilchrist is definitely the answer. But if you're going to bring in a defender who is going to give you an effort, who's going to work his butt off, who's going to possibly see out the rest of this game and keep us from conceding, why are you turning to Badiashile over Gilchrist? Basically, you're starving in the desert. You're starving and you see a pile of shit and you see a single, a single sausage. The sausage is not going to completely feed you. But I'm not eating the pile of shit because I'm not about to eat shit because I'm not going to be able to really eat it. I'm probably going to throw it up because it's disgusting. Whereas the sausage, yeah, it's small. It's probably not going to completely feed me, but it's going to keep me at least satiated for the time being. Gilchrist, we may have still conceded, even with Gilchrist coming in. He's not the world-class, wonderful defender that is definitely going to win you a match. But he's going to work hard. He's not going to give away a goal. Badiashile is going to give away a goal. He's going to do it every single time he comes on the pitch, and yet he still plays. And I have no other reason in my mind why he's the sub coming on to defend the game other than Pochettino wants to be fired. He's sick of being here. He's sick of all the people criticizing him because he's doing terrible. He's not been a good manager. He must be sick of us criticizing him, and he just wants out. And in my opinion, fine, get him out. I'm done with him. I'm sick of watching every single match. It doesn't matter how well we play the game before. It doesn't matter how bad we play the game before. The next game, it's just whatever. You can't take a 4-3 last minute win, go to play the bottom table in the team. You can't take that momentum and go crush this team. No, we have to be embarrassing. We have to draw again against another relegation side. And what does he do? What changes does he make to try to change the game? What does he bring? What momentum, what energy, what motivation does he bring? Nothing. There's nothing there from him that makes me think, yes, he's the manager that's going to get us back near the top of the table, because he's shown absolutely nothing this entire season. So, at the end of the day, I mean, Pochettino, I went on this long rant to say Pochettino's not the guy, and he takes a lot of blame for today's embarrassing draw. Players, I mean, Petrovic, both goals, I think he can do a lot better. The first one, I mean, he tries to read the cross and gets beat near post. Not good enough. Second one, he's got to come out and challenge McBurney, but he's stuck rooted to his line. Not good enough. So neither of them are completely his fault, but he does have fault in both of them. Disasi on the right side, it's just another Disasi type game. He made mistakes. He did some good stuff. He's not really a right back. So unfortunately, we just cannot keep players fit. So he has to keep sliding out there. I don't know why Gilchrist isn't being considered though, but yeah, as far as Disasi is concerned, I mean, I just didn't think he really helped us or hurt us. He was just out there, basically. Silva, I mean, scores the goal for the most part, did his job pretty well. The one pass, I know people are going to blame on him where he just passed it right to McBurney, but the truth of the matter is nobody goes to help him. You know, yes, he should pick his head up and he should look and see that there's nobody inside, but Petrovic is rooted on his line. Chalobah is still basically on the other side of the box almost. He assumes that somebody is going to be there to help him because he's stuck in that corner with a player bearing down on him, and nobody does. So yes, he shouldn't have assumed that somebody would be there, but where is everybody else? Where's the help? Where's Chalobah? Where's Petrovic? Where's Caicedo or Fernandez coming back to help him? Nobody was around. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that mistake was necessarily all his fault either. But I mean, he got the goal and defended pretty well for the most part. Chalobah on the left side, I was okay. You know, he's been one that every time he comes in, he doesn't necessarily do anything wrong, but there are some moments where it feels like he's a little bit weak defensively. It feels like he needs to be stronger. It feels like he needs to put in a stronger challenge most of the time. And I know he's been hindered by injury a lot, so that could be part of it. But I feel like where he was a few years ago when he first came into the team, I feel like he was better back then. I feel like he had a lot more confidence, maybe a little too much confidence at times. It led to a bit of naivete, but there were still a lot of moments that I felt like he was at least working hard to correct those mistakes. Nowadays, I don't see that as much. I don't see him as confident. He doesn't get caught lunging into challenges or anything like that, but it also feels like there are moments when he should be stepping out. He should be being a bit more confident defensively and trying to step out, not necessarily lunging in, but at least putting in a challenge and being more daring defensively. So I just feel like he's lost a bit of that. I don't know why. Maybe it has been the injury. Maybe it's just been the lack of time, but definitely want to see a bit more from him in general. And then Cucurella on the left side, I mean, I know we don't really have any other options, so it's not like I can sit here and go, we should be playing somebody else over him, but God, we need somebody else over him. We need a better left back option because, my God, I mean, today really showed it. We already saw a bit of it whenever he was getting embarrassed by Anthony against Man U, but today you're playing, again, bottom place team in the league, and it's just so easy to play down that our left-hand side because Cucurella is not a good defender. He's not. And even when the ball goes out to him, when we get down the field, he doesn't do anything with it. So he's just not a good option out there. And we just need better options. We need players on the left side and on the right side defensively who are not going to get hurt, but we also just need players who are solid, who can do their jobs well and not make a lot of mistakes. And unfortunately, we don't have that right now. In the midfield, I mean, I already talked about Caicedo, but yeah, worst player on the pitch today, as usual. So he'll play again next game, and I get to complain about him next game, so love that. Fernandez, it was okay. I mean, honestly, his first half was not great. I thought as the game on, he kind of grew into it a little bit more. Probably, though, based on his standards, it was below average because I'm used to seeing him really control that midfield and keep the ball moving well. But I thought today was definitely not up to his standard. He was very slow. Really, I mean, both him and Caicedo, I felt, were really not giving us much. And I think that's where we lost a lot of the game, was in the midfield. And another part of that is Gallagher. And I don't want to get sucked back into another Pochettino rant, but yeah, Gallagher was playing on the left side today for some reason. I know Madueke is out there and he likes to play down the right, but if that's the case, then just play Palmer out on the left. But playing Gallagher down the left did not help us at all, because without his energy in the middle of the pitch, where he's more central, without that, we didn't have much energy at all. You know, Fernandez was not playing well. Caicedo was his typical self, so not good. So we just didn't have anything in the midfield that really kept Sheffield from being able to play easily down the field and knock it, you know, basically right at our defense. So it's partially, you know, Fernandez not playing well, partially Caicedo's just a shit player, but also without Gallagher in the midfield, I think we definitely lacked today. But as far as Gallagher's performance, I mean, I thought he did okay. I thought he worked hard. It just was not his typical level of effectiveness that we're used to seeing. And I think a lot of that comes down to he's not as effective when he's out left. Palmer, definitely not a good game from him. We've seen this before where he'll have a really good game, and then the next one, for whatever reason, he's just not as effective. I'm not entirely sure why that is. It could just be he's still young, still growing, so he's got to grow into that maturity to be able to be more consistent. But at the moment, it's not. We need him to be effective every game, because if he's not effective, the team is not effective. He is, I mean, people have talked about it, but he's our best player by far. He is the one that creates a lot of those chances. He is the one that really makes us dangerous in the final third. So today he was not at his best, and we didn't create a whole lot of chances because of that. Madueke, I mean, I've said this about him before, but he rides the line of being really good and then really frustrating. And today he had those moments. You know, the goal, the second one, great goal, and it was a good run and all of that stuff. And yeah, he's got a lot of talent and a lot of pace and all of that. But then there are moments whenever he just dawdles on the ball for way too long, and it just becomes very easy to play against us in those moments because he just holds it. Everybody closes him down. It's very easy to read what he's about to do, and we lose the ball. And the other team is basically doesn't even have to really defend whenever he gets on it, and he tries to do too much with it. So it's just so back and forth with him. And I feel like because you have too much inconsistency in his performances, you can't trust him to start. At most, you can bring him on for some pace and energy at the end of the game, but I do not see him as a starter. You know, I'd much rather trust Sterling over him at this point, because at least Sterling, he'll give you more consistency throughout a match. Either it'll be, you know, he won't necessarily be good, but it'll be a consistent performance. Madueke is just way too erratic as a player for me to say, let's keep starting him. And then Jackson up top, I mean, he's completely lost whatever momentum he had like a few games ago when he was scoring and assisting and constantly involved. He's lost that. He is completely checked out again, not involved, bad touches, giving away the ball too easily, not really challenging the defense. It was just way too easy to play against him today, and we don't have another option up top. So if he's not playing well, who do you turn to? You don't have any options. Good job, Bowley and the transfer team, for making sure we only have one good option for striker, and that's basically it. As far as the subs that came on, I think it was Chukwuemeka came on first for Palmer, which made no sense because basically at that point you're banking on the fact that you're going to hold on to the 2-1 lead, and that was never going to happen. So you have to hope, because I know Palmer wasn't playing well today, but at the same time, he is still one of our most creative players. So you take him off, you have to hope that you don't give away a goal. Because if you do, you're definitely not scoring now with Palmer off the field. So Chukwuemeka coming on, I think he still needs more game time. I feel like he needs to be utilized more as a winger. He's being utilized as a number 10. I don't see him playing well in that position. The moments when he played well in the past before his injury, he was coming in from the wide areas. So I don't know why we're trying to put him down the middle right now, but it doesn't feel like he's as effective there. I don't feel like he's quick enough on the ball to play that position. So I really do feel like we need to look at playing him more out wide, but that's just my own ideas on what I've seen from him so far. But the next one was Mudryk coming on for Madueke. I don't even remember what our formation went to at that point because it was so dull by then. It was very much Sheffield's game, so Mudryk was not really that involved. He had one decent moment that I can remember breaking down the line, but overall, we were not in control enough of the game for him to really be that effective because we need to be on top with the other team kind of stepping out and giving us space to run into behind. And that wasn't really happening. It was mostly Sheffield were just on top of us. Every time we tried to clear the ball out, it was right to them. So we didn't really have a chance to get on the ball and let Mudryk use his pace to run down the lines. So he was definitely not really effective today. And then the final two, I mean, Badiashile, like I said, no reason for him to come on. Gives away a goal because of his bad defending. So probably one of those few rare exceptions where a player who's been on for less than 5 minutes is going to get more than just an NA. Because most of the time you don't really rate players like that. But today, I mean, you've got to give him probably like a 3 or a 4 at best. And then Cassidy, I mean, I don't know. He's one that he's just sort of been thrown on as a last minute player to give some energy. I will say he was also responsible in that goal because he missed a header, kind of lost out in a challenge. And that's one where you've only been on the field for a few minutes. You should just be raring and ready to go win the ball. But it kind of felt like he was maybe a little hesitant, maybe a little scared to go in and make a challenge. I don't know. You can't have that at this level. You can't just, I don't want to stick my foot in. I don't want to be scared to trip him. No, you just got to go. You got to go win the ball. If you can't do it, then get off the field and have somebody who can do it for you. So, yeah, he's also pretty young, if I'm not mistaken. So it's hard to really say he's the problem, but it definitely does feel as if that was also not a good sub. That was one that didn't really give us the energy that we needed to make sure that last goal doesn't happen. So all in all, I mean, it's another disappointing one. It's one that, again, I predicted before the match, and I didn't want to be proven right. I was proven right, and here we are again. Pochettino is a crap manager. We've got crap players because of a crap boardroom staff. It's just all crap. And the fact that we can't, again, take that momentum from a phenomenal, crazy last-minute win, we can't take that momentum and go beat the bottom team in the league. There's something wrong with that. There's a problem there. And of course, nobody's going to talk about it. Nobody's going to, we need to make some changes. No, it's just going to be next game. We'll go out there. We'll do the same thing. We'll either be great or we'll be terrible. And that's just how our season is. We'll either show up and play well. We'll show up with energy. We'll show up excited to play, or we'll show up and we'll just kind of laze around and then either lose the game or at best get a draw. And I'm kind of sick of that. I think a lot of fans are sick of that. We need a better manager, we need better players, and we need better owner who is actually going to make changes that affect the club positively and not just, I want to make money off of this team, because that's what it feels like with a lot of his decisions. But anyways, with all that being said, that's it for me. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on today's game? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. And I will talk to you all later. Peace out.